What's up, everybody? Well, I got another Asus Ally X gameplay video for you guys today, and today we're gonna try out that Metro Exodus PC Enhanced Edition. Now, this seemed to be quite a bit tougher to run than I had given it credit for. Steam Deck couldn't quite get a constant 30 even with everything on low, because ray tracing is stuck on, but it still did better than I thought. We were mostly at mid-20s to 30, so some people still might even consider it playable. It was just not quite there for me personally, but hey, it still did better than Stalker 2. But then again, Stalker 2 is brand new and Unreal Engine 5. This game is not Unreal Engine 5. In fact, I think it uses its own engine, now that I think about it. I could be wrong on that, but I could have sworn I saw them talking about it in the beginning little cutscenes that they always tell you at the beginning, you know, where it tells you the developers and the engine and this, that, and the other thing. If it's an NVIDIA-sponsored game, it'll have NVIDIA splash screens and stuff too, which I'm pretty sure this thing was, because all the other games were. It'd be really weird if the newest one wasn't. But in any case, it did not run that great, so I'm not expecting it to be super playable on this either, but maybe at 720p with the ray tracing on low, we can actually get 30-40 FPS on this thing. Seeing as though the CPU is quite a bit stronger, the GPU is quite a bit stronger. I mean, 1080p will probably be very similar, but if we try high and whatnot, it's probably gonna run even worse. But we're just gonna hop in there and do what we usually do, and just see what's what. So let's stop blabbing, let's get ourselves into the game.
All right, so here we go. We're gonna try this out. I accidentally left it on 1200p, but it's still not gonna matter that much. Might we get 2 FPS better if you weren't at 1200 versus 1080. I thought I had it at 1080, but then I backed out to make sure all things stayed right, and apparently they did not. But regardless, this isn't gonna work well anyway, as you will see what I mean. So here we go. So it's getting a little worse out here anyway than the Steam Deck, but pretty equal. The Steam Deck hung around like 25 to 30 FPS. And I think that's about what it gets down to, but I think it does have some drops down into the teens even. But we are using higher resolution, higher settings, and higher ray tracing, so the fact that it's not getting like 6 FPS is impressive to me, anyway. But yep, there we go. There's the teens I was talking about. And this is OBS, so it's not like on the actual machine. This is an actual capture computer, so it should not be hindering the FPS at all. Alright, how did I turn that light on again? There we go. Now I can see. But yeah, not very playable. I don't think too many people would want to play like this, but hey, there might be some people out there that still consider this playable, so I figured we'd get some gameplay like this. Maybe go a little further than we did on the Steam Deck during the screen recorded portion anyway, and go and get into some fights or something. Just so we can see how it's like. And then I think we'll try 900p and 720p out, of course, because this is not very playable. Hopefully, some of the other resolutions will be a little more playable. But I mean, when ray tracing is involved, like I said at the beginning of the Steam Deck video, and maybe even at this one, it'd probably be best to just stick with the old school version of the game. That probably gets like 30-40 FPS, you know, with the same settings. Maybe even more. I'm going to test that out, so I guess we'll find out after I'm done doing this game. Alright, give me that magazine. I wants it, and I needs it. And I'm gonna get it one way or the other. Alright, let's get our cool little bullet lighter out. I've got an antique lighter that kind of has the same, look, as the lighter part, just not the bullet part. But lighters looked really, really funny back in the day. Like, everything back in the day had, a cool fucking, look to it. That's why I kind of like my lighter I got. This DSIM actually looks pretty freaking cool. I mean, a Bic is way cheaper. You can get, a whole, pack or two of Bics that would last you, 2 or 3 years, probably, for the price of this silly thing. But I like it. Especially the whole lighting stuff upside down for bowls and pipes and stuff. That's pretty nice. Alright. We'll go around and burn up all this shit. How that thing wouldn't come out and attack me right now when it saw all that shit lighting up and whatnot, I don't know, but I think it's just because it's timed. Until you step right there, it will never come out. Get the hell off of me. But yeah, during this thing we're in the teens. Makes it even less nice to play. And then I'm going to show you what it's like to actually, like, fight just a little bit here, too. It's not exactly an enjoyable experience, at least in my opinion. If it wasn't for, like, this game having mild auto-aim, I wouldn't be able to hit the broadside of a barn. Obviously, you can turn that off if you don't like that, but I think most people with controllers like having auto-aim. Me, I just left it on. But generally, I do not like it. So that's probably why I get owned so often in games, because I'll turn it off and then everything will destroy me because it's meant to have like auto-aim on. Anyway, though, we've defeated all the monsters here, so let's move on to 900p. Alright, so here's the settings for 900p now. We're going to put it quality on medium, ray tracing on normal instead of high. We're still going to leave tessellation on, but we'll turn that off when we get to low. But anyway, let's go ahead and roll back into the game, and we'll see if 900p can give us at least some playable-ish FPS. So now here we are, 900p medium settings, and so far we're getting much more playable FPS. Now I have a feeling it'll still drop under 30 here and there, but I think for the most part you'd probably get like a 35 to 45 FPS experience, if I remember correctly. I did a lot of systems, so don't quote me on that. We'll see as we go along what the actual FPS is, but if that's what I remember getting down here. And we were still getting like 40-ish up top. That's how I wanted to start up there, because that's like the only time we're really up above, at least in the short time I've played this. Besides that, we're just in these tunnels, which surprisingly seem harder to run than the outside did, which isn't normal, but hey, I'll take it. Normally I get yelled at for running around in tunnels, but in this case I think the tunnels are harder to run than the outside. At least the small amount of outside I was in to jump into this tunnel anyway. Let's rock around a little bit, just like we did on the rest of the settings. But yeah, see, if we're at 35, 36 and stuff right here, there's got to be some spots where we're going to drop under 30. But I think for the most part, you'll be good. And it still looks halfway decent. I'm actually kind of impressed with how well this thing's handling the ray tracing. I figured the Steam Deck and this were going to be like literal slideshows where you could not even remotely come close to hoping to play. But the Steam Deck is even like somewhat playable to some people. Not to me personally, but it wasn't no 9, 10 FPS at least. It seemed to be 25 to 30, with some drops down in the teens when the action got heavy, like right when I started fighting the monsters up ahead. So this thing is definitely coping a little bit better, but it's a more powerful device, so makes sense. Yeah, besides Windows nonsense, it's definitely the superior handheld for most things, but some people are going to like the OLED HDR screen more, especially for the easier to run games that happen to support it. But for any triple title, I feel like almost everybody's going to go with the Ally X, or the original Ally. Only problem with the original Ally is who cares how fast it is if it only lasts for like 45 minutes to an hour. Unless you neuter it and make it like as slow as the Steam Deck. And even then, it still can't win in battery. It can compete with the old school one and actually, I think, beat the old original Steam Deck in battery that way, but definitely can't touch the OLED Steam Deck. That thing is too battery efficient with its screen and the slightly bigger battery. I think it had like a 50 versus a 40 or something like that. Alright, let's go through our stupid spider area. I do not like this spot. I don't think I have an arachnophobia, but I definitely don't like spiders. Just because they're so small and a lot of them can do so much damage. I'm just glad I don't live in, like, Australia and, like, freaking places where I don't know, where's the Brazil wandering spider? I want to say it's from Brazil, but then it looks stupid if it's not actually from Africa or something like that. Like, in some other African country. Because you know how they name stuff like that. They'll name it, like, you know, something American, and then it'll actually be, like, in freaking Canada or something like that. And I was like, oh, well, that's cool. Way to name it wrong, guys. It doesn't happen with too many things, but I've noticed that with a couple things here and there in life. Alright. Let's go and get this thing to come out here and tango. Alright, cool. Alright, now let's fight the rest of these guys. Yeah, it still drops under 30 a little bit. Figured it was going to someplace, I remember correctly. That's just in this here, so bet you there's harder to run places than this somewhere. So this might not be the most viable way to play, but at least it's doing an infinitely better job than trying to play the game with it on high. With high ray tracing, that wasn't going much better than the Steam Deck, really. But anyway, why don't we go and move on to 720 now? Alright, so here's 720p. Put everything down to normal, because, well, that's as low as it'll go, but then I turned tessellation off and whatnot. Left VRS on, because I figured it could use variable rate shading. It could use the extra help. But, in any case, let's get ourselves back into the game and see if we can get playable FPS the whole time now and never drop under 30. I think we can. Alright, here we go. 720p, low, and we actually can touch 60 FPS at some points. I wasn't expecting to get 60 FPS all the time, but I'm actually surprised we hit it at all. That's pretty awesome. So that means in the actual game that's not the PC enhanced version, you can probably get playable FPS on probably a few different settings actually. You could probably stay above 30 even at 1080p, I bet. Which we will test next after I'm done doing this on all the computers. But yeah, if I was going to play on this thing solely, this is definitely the mode I would play on. I don't get my 60 all the time, but at least I get close. And the closer to 60 I am, the better I'll be able to aim, even with a controller, which I'm not that good at. But I'm still better when I have better FPS. That much is true, no matter what my input device is. Now I'm actually kind of excited to play the original game on these. I bet they'll play just fine. Not quite probably as good as the other first two games before it. I'm sure Exodius added a little extra graphics to the mix, but who knows? Maybe even on high they can just chill and at 60 FPS the majority of the time. That'd be great. We'll have to wait and see though. Well, that sure was a fooler. It looked like there was a shit ton left in the bowl, but there wasn't. It was just all going around the sides. I'm gonna have to pack a bowl when I'm done with this segment. Otherwise, I know what's gonna happen. I'm gonna start the next one on the fire pat, and then I'm gonna go to take a hit of the thing, and it's gonna taste absolutely disgusting. And I'm gonna be like, ew, gross. And then complain about it a bunch. So let's just avoid that altogether. It'd be so cool if you just shoot that thing before it gets you, but it's a timed little video that plays. I don't think there's anything you can do about it. Although I hate saying things like that because then I already know somebody's gonna go, well, actually. And I'm like, oh, well, whatever. I can still admit when I'm wrong. It's not that big of a deal. It's harder when people are being dicks about being right, but hey, you still have to just admit when they're right, even if they're being a dick about it. That's how I was taught anyway. It's just a lot harder to do so. Or even the people that just say, haha, told you so. That's hard too. Oh, get shot in the face. Oh, nope, I missed his face. There we go, we got him that time. Auto aim doesn't work miracles, I guess. But why don't we now move on to a little camera? Alright, well, now for some camera recorded gameplay. Figured I'd show, like, it dropping from the sky all the way down and when he goes into the little sewer system. I remember watching this for the first time. I was like, oh, we're getting pretty decent FPS, and then just watching my hopes of getting 60 FPS just be shattered the closer we get to the ground. But I was kind of figuring we weren't going to get a constant 60 in this game, even on low. But hey, at least we're getting well over 30 now. But there are parts where we still drop down into the 40s, as you will see. And down the hole we go. Alright, cool. A magazine. Oh, nope, I went too fast. I think if you go at the right speed, those things don't crawl on you at all. Although, maybe it just happens no matter what, and it's completely random. I have no idea. It's not like I've played this game much. It would be nice to just have a grenade to throw in there. And see, we still drop into the high 40s for this part. Again, not the end of the world, but still far away from 60 now. Or at least there. Now we're getting closer again. Uh-oh. Nope, get away. There we go. One for good measure. Not that I should be wasting my ammo in a place like this. Ooh, one's on the roof. Where is he gonna pop in from? Ah, there you are. Oh yeah, that's right. This is the spot where you just like fight them endlessly and waste all your ammo, so I'm not gonna do that. But they're not done. Huh. Yep, it's me.
He's hurt. Come on, Artyom, stay with us.
And alright, I think that's a great spot for us to go wrap this video on up.
Well, alright guys, that is a wrap for Metro Exodus PC Enhanced Edition, and it did a little bit better than the Steam Deck, and we actually got playable FPS like I thought once we got up to 720p, and it was pretty playable at 900p. But guarantee there's spots that are gonna drop well under 30. I mean, I saw 28, 29 in some spots, but guarantee it's gonna drop lower than that. You get further in the game. Kind of just like in that Stalker 2 game. I mean, it was already pretty bad in the beginning area, but it gets real bad when you get into the first town. But in any case, that is all I got for you guys for this particular video. And of course, like I said on the Steam Deck video, we're gonna go ahead and do the old school game on these handhelds. Heck, depending on how it runs, we might just do it on everything. That way you guys can compare them both on everything, but we'll see once we get to the end. Well, we'll get to the small form factor PC, and then I'll make my decision on whether or not I'm gonna do it on all the rest of them, because that thing is kind of a pretty damn beastly PC, so if it runs it effortlessly and gets like 400 FPS, which is a little overzealous, let's just stay realistic. If it gets like 200 FPS or something, I'm not even gonna bother, you know, with doing the old game on everything. But if it struggles too, well, hell, we might have to. But anyway, that's all I got for this particular video. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, because I sure as hell enjoyed making it for you guys. And until the next video, peace out, guys.